Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making the tutorial for this beautiful crochet top. I'm not sure what the name of this particular stitch is, but I love it so much. I've even gone ahead to do 3 different colors of same top. So if you know the name of this stitch, please feel free to drop it on the comments so we all learn something from this. So without further ado, let us get into the tutorial. Okay, for this project, these are the materials that you are going to need. All right, you're going to need your measurement tape. You're going to need your tapestry needle, of course. You're going to need some stitch markers. Then you're going to need a scissors. Then you're going to need your yarn, of course. All right, so this particular yarn, this is the first time I'm actually working with it. I bought a cake yarn. I didn't know the strands of the cake yarn is going to be as tiny. So I had to create this one with my yarn winder to put 2 strands together. You see, so even after putting 2 strands together, it still come out as tiny as this. All right, so I know this is going to be fun working with this one. So for this one, I'm going to be using a 2.5mm hook size. All right, for this project, I will advise you go with a tiny strand of yarn. I think the beauty comes out more when the yarn strand is very tiny. So you can go for either a 2-ply or a 3-ply yarn. Okay, I can't really tell the ply this one is right now because the half of it is very tiny, and like I told you, I had to create this one myself, and I'm putting 2 strands together to create this particular one, but this size is very okay for this particular project. All right, so let us get into it. Okay, so for the measurement of this top, you are going to be taking your bust measurement, which is around your chest. Okay, so you're going to take around your chest, and you are going to take the lengths that you want your top to be in. So you're going to take from your shoulders to wherever you want the length to be in. If you want it to be like a crop top, or if you want it to be a full top, is up to you. But you need your bust measurement and the length you want your top to be in. All right, before we start on our chains, I just want to show you an example of the one I've done previously. Okay, because this working on this top is a little bit tricky. All right, so when you want to make your chain, you go ahead to make it in multiples of 19. So this is how it is going to be looking like. So the multiples of 19 are the ones that creates this half a circle underneath the top. Okay, so whenever you make your chain, you just need to add extra, because when we start working, this gallop half circles is going to be coming out. All right, but don't worry, as we go, I'm going to be giving you more of the explanation so you understand where I'm coming from. All right, so this one that is my size, I ended up making 17 inches for the first panel, because we're going to be working 2 panels. So the front panel happened to be 17 and the back is 17 as well, and my bust measures 38, so I had to do 17 plus 17, that's 34, because this particular thread I used on this one stretches. Okay, and then it's not too tight, it's not too free, and this is how I want my top to be. So when we start, we are going to be creating 2 panels like I told you. So we are going to be starting with the front panel. We'll do the front panel, we'll do the back panel, and we'll go ahead to do strand. Okay, so let us get into it. Okay, so like I told you, we are going to be making the chains in multiples of 19. Okay, so for my size now, I'm going to be making 19 into 6 places for my front panel. Okay, so you go ahead now to create your chains and make sure you do it in multiples of 19. All right, so I'm going to be doing 19 into 6 places now, because that's how much will give me the 17 inches I'm going for my front panel. Okay, so that's 1. And make sure you count your stitches very well, because like I told you, this is a little tricky. This top is very tricky to work on. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so now I have my first 19, and like I told you, I'm going to be creating 6 like this. So in order for you not to lose your counts, when you get to your first 19, put a stitch marker there. It makes it very easy for you to trace. Okay, so that's our first 19. So now I'm going for my second 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I'm going to put another stitch marker on my second 19. So you go ahead to create your own chains in multiples of 19 and make sure you are marking them just like this so you don't miss the count. And when I'm done creating my own chains, I'll come back to show you what we are going to be doing next. Okay, so as you can see, I've gotten my chain. So I did 19 into 6 places. Okay, so this is how my chain is looking like. All right, so the trick is when you get your own measurements, all right, just do the chain of your measurements and add 3 more inches to it. I think that will do the trick to cover all of the gallop circles at the bottom of the top. Okay, so when you get your 19 into the particular chains that you want to do, just add an extra 3 inches, and another 19 happen to be the extra 3 inches. All right, but if you are following my own size, which is the 6 19s that I'm doing, then let's continue what we are doing. Okay, so the next step now, which is our row 1, you are going to chain up 1 and then skip that 1 stitch, and into the second stitch you are going to go in with a single crochet just like this, and on the next stitch you are going to go in with a single crochet, and on the next stitch you are going to go in with a single crochet. So for the row 1, we are just going to be working single crochet all across this chain. All right, so you go ahead now to put in 1 single crochet in each of the stitch until you get to the end part here, and I'll come back to tell you what we're going to do for row 2. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of row 1, so our single crochet for the row 1 is complete. All right, so now to go into the row 2, you are going to chain up 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then you are going to turn your work, and then you are going to put a treble crochet on the very first stitch here. You're going to be putting in 4 double crochet, because this chain 4 now is going to be counting as 1 treble crochet. So to do a treble crochet, you are going to yarn over twice, and then you are going to go into the very first stitch here, then yarn over and bring out a loop, yarn over again and take out 2 loops. Now you have 3 on your hook, yarn over, take out another 2 loops. Now you have 2 on your loop, on your hook, and yarn over again and take out the 2 loops. So that is how you create a treble crochet. Okay, so you are going to go ahead now to put in 3 more treble crochets on this particular stitch, on this very first stitch here, to make it 5 treble crochet on that stitch. So that's 3, So that's 4. And that is 5. Okay, so now we have 5 treble crochet on this first stitch. Don't forget the chain 4 counts as 1 treble crochet, and then you add 4 more treble crochets on that same stitch. All right, so now on the next stitch you are going to be going in with a treble crochet. Okay, on the very next stitch right here. You are going to go in with 1 treble crochet. All right, and then now you are going to skip the next stitch and go into the next, skip 1 stitch, go into the next stitch with a treble crochet. Okay, just like this. All right, make sure you are paying very close attention to this. All right, so now you are going to skip the next stitch and put in a treble crochet on the very next. Okay, let me bring it closer so you see what I'm doing. So skip this first stitch here now, and on the next stitch you go in with a treble crochet. So skip 1 stitch again and go in with a treble crochet. Skip the next stitch, which is this one, and on the next one you are going in with a treble crochet. Make sure you don't chain 1. We don't chain 1 in between. You are just skipping the stitch and going to the next stitch with a treble crochet. Okay, so keep doing that until you have 9 in total. Okay, skip the next stitch and go into the next with a treble crochet. Just like that. Skip the next stitch again and go into the next one with a treble crochet. All right, so let's go count how many we have now. All right, so after the 5 treble crochet on this stitch, we started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we are going to be putting the last treble crochet, which is the number 9th treble crochet. So chain up, don't chain up anything, sorry, yarn over twice and go in, skip this stitch and go in the last stitch here before the stitch marker, and you're going to put in 1 treble crochet right there, just like that. So now we have 9 treble crochets. So now after the 9 treble crochets, we are going to take out our stitch marker here. It has done its work. So we don't need it anymore. All right, so now on that stitch where the stitch marker is, you are going to be going in that stitch with 5 treble crochets, just like we did in the beginning. Okay, so on this very next stitch now where we remove the stitch marker from, you are going to go in there with 5 treble crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on that same stitch. Okay, so on the very next stitch now, you are going to go in with 5 treble crochet as well. All right, so the very next stitch now, you go in with 5 treble crochet on that next stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so as you can see now, it's beginning to take shape. All right, so now on the very next stitch, you are going to be going in with a treble crochet. So after this stitch that you have 5, on the very next one now you are going with just 1 treble crochet. Okay, and then you are going to skip the next stitch, and on the next you are going to go in with 1 treble crochet, just like we did on this part. Okay, just like we did on this part, you are going to be creating another 9 treble crochets, skipping 1 stitch each. Okay, so in between the treble crochets you are going to be skipping 1 stitch. All right, so now we have 2 right here. So skip the next stitch, and on the next you're going to go in with a treble crochet. Skip a stitch, and on the next you go in with a treble crochet. Make sure you do not miss the count. It must be 9 treble crochet with 1 skipped stitch in between. Okay, no chains. All right, so how many do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip a stitch, and then you go in with a treble crochet. So we are working with a treble crochet on this project. Then skip a stitch, and then on the next stitch you are going to go in with a treble crochet. And then skip another stitch, and on the next you're going to go in with a treble crochet. And skip this stitch, and you're going to go in with your last treble crochet on this part. Okay, and always make sure you go back to count your stitches. Okay, so now after the 5 here, we go in with a treble crochet on the very next stitch right here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So after the 9, where the stitch marker is, just exactly what we did here is what we are going to create again here. All right, so this row is going to be all treble crochet for the row 2, sorry. So remove your stitch marker, and on that spot where the stitch marker was, you are going to be going in with 5 treble crochet on that same stitch. So that's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 on that same stitch. Then on the very next stitch, you are going to be putting in 5 treble crochet as well. On the very next stitch now, you go in with 5 treble crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is how it's looking. All right, so what you're going to do now, you just continue doing exactly what we just did here now. All right, just continue doing that for the rest of this row 2. All right, and I will meet you at the end here. All right, to tell you what we're going to do for row 3. All right, okay, so I've gotten to the end of my row 2. So and I have 9 of the stitches here, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So I have just one more stitch left. So on this last stitch now, I'm going to be putting in 5 treble crochet, just like we did in this beginning parts. So the half circle is going to be complete on this side as well. Okay, so on your very last stitch now, you go ahead to put in 5 treble crochets. So that's 1, and 5. So that is how you end the row 2. So as you can see, I now have 6. Let's count. That's 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Okay, so to start on row 3 now, you are going to chain up 1 and then turn your work. So now we are going to be doing front post single crochet on the row 3. Okay, front post single crochet. So this very first stitch now, you're going to be going around it. Please just watch carefully. Okay, you're going to go around it and create a front post single crochet, just like this. All right, so it's a little tricky to get this stitch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a stitch marker on the very first stitch right here, just to get it right when I'm back here again. Okay, all right, so on the next stitch now, you're going to be going in with the front post single crochet. Okay, and then on the next stitch, you are going to go in with a front post single crochet. So just keep ticking the stitches and creating front post single crochets, just like this. It's quite easy. All right, so the next stitch, you put in front post single crochet. So this row, this entire row 3, you're just going to be doing front row single crochet, front post, sorry, did I just say front row? All right, so just keep doing front post single crochet until you get to this end here. And when you get to the end here, I'm going to come back to tell you what we're going to do for the next row. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the row 3, which is our front post single crochet rows. So I just have the last stitch here. So in order to get this last stitch, you're just gonna take the last stitch like this and do a single crochet, just like that, to end this row. Okay, so now for the row 4, you are going to chain up 4. 1 2 3 and 4, and you're going to turn your work to the other side. Okay, so on this row 4 now, you are going to be going into the very first stitch here, but this one is going to be a little different. You see, after creating the front post single crochet, you are going to have something like this. So as you can see, so instead of going down here at the bottom, you're going to be going into the middle of all the stitches. All right, so it's going to be like you're working on the back loops only. All right, in order to form this design in front here. So now you are going to be going to the very first stitch in the front loops only, which happens to be this stitch, and you are going to put in 4 treble crochets more to make it 5 treble crochet on that stitch, because the chain 4 now, like we did on the previous row, is going to be serving as 1 treble crochet. Okay, sorry, I have to correct that there. Okay, so now this chain 4 is going to be 1 treble crochet, so we are going to be putting in 4 more treble crochet on this same stitch. So that's 2, 3, and then 4. So now we have 5 altogether. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this same stitch. Okay, so now on the next stitch, you are going to be going in with 1 treble crochet. Okay, on the next stitch, you're going to go in with 1 treble crochet. And then you're going to skip the next stitch, and on the next, you're going to go in with 1 treble crochet. Just exactly what we did on the row 2. Okay, and then you are going to skip the next stitch, and on the next stitch you are going to go in with 1 treble crochet. So this is what you are going to continue until you get the 9 again. Skip 1 stitch and go into the next stitch with a treble crochet. Skip 1 stitch and go into the next with a treble crochet. Okay, so this is the pattern you are going to be following for this row. Skip 1 stitch and go into the next stitch with your regular treble crochet until you get 9. Do not forget that. Always go back and count your stitches so you do not miss any stitch, because if you miss one of the stitch, you've missed the entire concept of this top. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we have 1 more treble crochet to go before our 5. So skip 1 stitch, and on the next stitch you are going to go in with the last treble crochet that will complete this one, 9 treble crochets. Okay, so now we have the 9 treble crochets. So the next stitch now, you are going to go in with 5 treble crochets, just like we did in the row 2. Okay, so that's 1, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then on the very next stitch, you are going to go in with 5 treble crochets again. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so as you can see, it's beginning to take shape, and the beauty of the front post single crochet is coming out. All right, So now this is exactly what you continue doing, okay, on this row. So you follow this pattern now on this row until you get to the end here. And then when you get to the end here, you are going to chain up one and do a front chain up one, turn your work and do a front post all across the back again, and then go to the next row and just continue this one. So it is going to be a repetition of row 3 and row 4, okay, until you get to the length that you want. Okay, then when I come back, I'm going to be showing you how we are going to make this chest area where we are going to be adding our strands on. Okay, so the length you are going to be working on now is going to be from this bottom here where we started from to this part. So me, I'll end up putting in 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 of the treble crochet parts, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 of the single crochet parts. Okay, so you make sure when you are done with your 10 you are going to end up with the front post single crochet row. Okay, so I don't know how long or how short you want yours to be, but mine, like I've showed you, is going to be 20 rows altogether. So 10 rows of the treble crochet rows and 10 rows of the front post single crochet row. So that is what I'm going to do now, and then I'll come back to show you how we are going to add these parts, okay, to reveal our arm area. Okay. Okay, so I've gotten to my to the end of the rows that I've worked on. So I ended up doing 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 of the treble crochet rows, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 of the front post single crochet rows. So this is how it's looking now. Okay, so do not forget we have our foundation chain and a single crochet that I am not counting, okay, because like I told you, the end of your rows must be the front posts single crochet, which we always do. Okay, so this one now we got our 20 rows in total on this one. All right, so now we are going to be starting on the chest area like I told you. So for the chest area now, we are going to be leaving out 19 stitches, and we are going to start working on this parts. All right, so in order to get this parts for the chest area now, you are going to count out 19. Okay, so you count out 19 stitch, and then on the 20th stitch you're just going to mark it with your stitch marker like I've already done here. Okay, so do that here, and then you are going to do that here as well. Always make sure you use your stitch marker. It helps you know where you are going to end or begin. Okay, so now that I have my 2 stitch markers here, I'm going to be starting the chest area, working all the way up like this. Okay, so this area now is going to be for the arm area. Let me just show you with the previous one I've done so you understand what I'm trying to explain. Okay, so this is the part we just left out with the stitch marker now. So this is where we are going to be working on. All right, so this is where I'm calling the chest area. So we are just going to go ahead now, and we are going to be putting 4 rows of the treble crochet parts and 4 rows of the single crochet parts just to create this chest area. Okay, but if you want your own longer, it's still the same thing. Okay, so that is exactly what we just marked out here. So now we are going to be starting like this, working up like this. So in order to start that, so where you've put your first stitch marker, that is where you are going to reattach your yarn. Okay, I'm just going to bring down the camera a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so where you put your stitch marker here now, which is the 20th stitch, that is where you reattach your yarn right there. Okay, and then you are going to chain up 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then on that same stitch, you are going to be putting in 4 more treble crochets, just like we've been doing. So it's going to be exactly the same pattern, okay? But this time around, we're just going to be starting from this part, counting out 19. And on the 20th stitch, that is where we are going to put our first 5 treble crochet. So this chain 4 now counted as 1 treble crochet. That you already know. So now I'm going to be putting in 4 more treble crochet on that same stitch. Okay, so now that's 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, so plus the chain 1 now we have 5 treble crochets on that same stitch. And on the next stitch now, you are going to be putting in the 1 treble crochet as we've been doing on the very next stitch right here. And then you're going to skip 1 stitch, and on the next you're going to put in your next treble crochet. Okay, and then you're going to skip 1 stitch and you're going to put your next treble crochet. So this is what you're going to be doing until you get 9, just exactly what we did on the body. Okay, so this is it, just exactly what we did on the body, but this time around we are just starting from here. Okay, so until you get your 9, when you get here, you put in 5 treble crochet on 1 stitch, and on the next stitch another 5 treble crochet. Do the same thing again, 9 until you get here, 5, 5 until you get to this part here. And when you get here, I'm going to come back to show you how we are going to continue. Okay, so I've gotten to where the stitch marker is now on the very first row. Okay, so now we are going to remove the stitch marker from here. Now I have 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the stitch marker is where I'm going to put 5 treble crochet, just like we did in the very beginning here. Okay, so you are going to go into the stitch now where the stitch marker was with 5 treble crochet to end the first row. Okay, and 5. So that is how you end this row 1. Okay, so it's just as easy as this. So for the row 2 now, it's just exactly what we've been doing on the body of the top. Okay, you're just going to chain up 1, turn your work, all right, and then you are going to be doing your normal front post single crochet. Okay, so go in like this, and then do not forget to mark your very first stitch, so it doesn't give you a headache by the time you get here again. Okay, so on the next stitch, just put in your regular front post single crochet, and on the next stitch you're going to do exactly the same thing. So you already know these parts. What you're just going to do now is do your normal single front post single crochet front post single crochet on this row, and then you turn your work and do your normal treble crochet until you get 4 of the treble crochet rows and 4 of the front post single crochet rows. And when I'm done with mine, I'll come back to show you what we are going to do next. Okay, so I'm done with my front panel, and this is how the whole thing is looking. So we're done with the front now. So as you can see, I did 1, 2, 3, 4 more rows of the treble crochets, and 1, 2, 3, 4 more rows of the front panel of the front post single crochet to complete the front panel. So the next part now is going to be working on the back panel. All right, so when you do go ahead to do your back panel, you are not going to be adding this chest parts on your back panel. You are just going to be making from this part down. So the rows you are going to be making for the back panel is going to be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 of the treble crochet rows, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 of the front post single crochet row. But don't forget, when you begin, you're supposed to begin with your foundation chain normal and a single crochet before you start working on your trebles. Okay, so now I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to make my back panel, and when I'm done I'll come back to show you how it's looking and what we are going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm done with my back panel. So like I told you, I ended up doing 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 of the trebles, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 of the front post single crochet. All right, don't forget I started with a foundation chain and I added a single crochet before I started with the treble, so I'm not counting that part. So when I count the front post singles and the trebles. All right, so this is how our back panel is looking. All right, so now the next step is going to be joining both the front panel and the back panel together. All right, as you can see, I played with these colors here. I had to improvise. I ran out of this color so I had to come up with this color. All right, but it looks so beautiful. Alrighty, so this is our front panel. So what we are going to do now, we are going to be joining both the back panel and the front panel together. And do not forget, this is the back and this is the front. So when you want to join, be careful to look at it very well before you join. So you put where the back is to the back like this, and make sure this part is what is facing the front. Okay, so let's get to joining now. Okay, so one last detail before we start joining. Go ahead to do a single crochet, another single crochet at the bottom of your work. All right, so on the two panels now, run a single crochet at the very bottom of your work just to make it firm. So after that, you can go ahead now to join. So in order to join the two panels together now, you are going to turn your work to the other side, to the back side. Okay, so this time around, the back side is going to be here facing the front and here facing the back. Okay, so you're going to take your yarn. This time around, I'm going to be using the slip stitch method to do the joining. All right, so we are going to be doing slip stitches and chains. All right, so make a slip knot, and then you are going to attach your yarn on the very first stitch right here. You know, the last single crochet you did. Let me bring it down so you can see it clearly. Okay, so that is where you're going to attach your yarn. So you are taking the two places at the same time. So go in with your hook on the first panel, and then go in with your hook on the second panel as well. Make sure you are going into the very first stitch, okay? Because you want it to be equal when you do that. Then you attach your yarn, and then you are going to bring out your yarn through both the stitches, and you're going to chain up one. Okay, and then on that next stitch now, close to it, which is the second single crochet row stitch, you're going to go in there on the first panel and go into the second panel, and then you're going to do a slip stitch right there, just like that. Please watch what I'm doing carefully so you can understand it very well. Okay, so you're going to do a slip stitch right there, and then now you are going to go into the next stitch, which is here, on this panel, and on the second panel you're going to go into that stitch as well, and you are going to do a slip stitch. So now you have 2 on your hook, and then you are going to do a slip stitch. I believe by now you all know how to do a slip stitch. All right, so now we have 3 of the slip stitches here to start on this single crochet rows. All right, so now we are going to be going into the treble crochet stitch. That is where we are going to be joining now. All right, so to do this part, you are going to chain up 4, like we've been we've been chaining up 4 to create the treble crochet part. So chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you are going to go to the next stitch up here. Please watch what I'm doing carefully. And then you are going to go into the stitch right here on this panel, and on the second panel you are going to do exactly the same thing. Go into the stitch right there, and then you are going to do a slip stitch, just like that. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. And then you're going to chain 4 again. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and go into the next stitch up here on this panel, and do the same thing here. Go into the next stitch on this same panel, on this next panel, and do a slip stitch. So this is how you are going to be joining the 2 panels together. All right, let me take it one more time so you can see what I'm doing clearly. All right, so chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then go to the next stitch up here. Go into the next stitch here on this panel, and go into the next stitch on the panel on the next panel, which is the second panel, and do a slip stitch right there, just like this. So that is exactly what you're going to do on this part to join. Okay, so you are going to continue doing that. So you will chain up 4 here, and then go to the next stitch right here and do a slip stitch. Chain up 4, go to the next stitch and do a slip stitch until you get to the end here. When I get to this part, I'll come back to show you how it's looking and what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so as you can see, I'm done joining the 2 sides together. So this is how it's looking. You see how it's all blended like nothing happened there. All right, let me show you the front. So this is how it looks in front. Okay, so this is the side of the front and the back panel. All right, so now you go ahead to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, make sure you are joining from the back. Okay, so exactly the same thing you did here. Now on this side, do it on the other side of the top. Okay, make sure you are following each of the stitches so they correspond. All right, you don't want one part to be longer than the other parts. Okay, so I'm going to go off camera now and do the joining of the other parts, and when I'm done, I'll come back to show you and tell you what we are going to be doing next on the top. Okay, so I'm done joining the 2 sides together. So this is how our top is looking now. Let me show you how it looks. So as you can see, you see how it's all blended together with the joining. So beautiful. All right, so the next step now is going to be adding our strands to create the hand strands here. So on this one, I'm not just going to be using the 1 strand we've been using to create the top. I'm going to be adding 2 of this together. So I still have this one left, just a little bit. The one I used for the front, I still have a little bit of it left. So I'm going to be adding this one we've been using for the back. So I'm going to be putting the 2 of them together to create the strand, because I want it to be a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's go ahead to make our strands. Okay, Okay, to create the strand, you are going to be adding your yarn on the very last stitch right here. Okay, so this is the very first stitch, sorry, the stitch that ended it here. On this top here, that is where you're going to attach your yarn in there like that. And like I told you, I'm putting two of the yarns together because I don't want the strand for the end to be too tiny. So what you are now going to do, for my own size, the strand that is going to go through down to my back, I'm going to chain up 55. So you do your own measurements to make sure you get your right measurement before you chain the chain that will be enough, that will go from your chest to your back. Okay, so I'm going to be making 55 chains right now. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now so I have 55 chains. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my project to the other side, and I'm going to be joining it now to the back panel, okay, to create the hand. Okay, so we are going to be counting 19 from this corner where we joined. That is where we are going to be fixing the chain. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19. So the 19 happened to be on this space here, but you are not going to be putting it on the space. You are going to be putting it here on this front post single crochet that we created. Okay, so that is where we are going to go into. So now you will take your chain where you stopped. Okay, and then you remove your hook from your chain and make sure the loop is there. Okay, so now you are going to go into this place here. So this time around, we are not going into the space like I told you. You are going to be taking the stitches on top. So you are going to take the 2 stitches that is on top. So that is the first stitch. Please watch what I'm doing carefully. And this is the second stitch. And then you are going to take your loop from the chain now, and you are going to pass it through just like this. Okay, and turn your work. So the slip stitch you are going to be creating now to join it is going to be inside. Okay, so take your yarn from here and create a slip stitch. I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. So you create your slip stitch from the inside. Okay, let me show you the front now. So this is what it is. Okay, so you are going to chain up 1, and then you are going to cut off your yarn. Alrighty, and then you tie. So that is how you are going to be joining the strands to the back. Okay, so we are going to weave in that end later, so that's not a problem. So as you can see, we have the first strand ready. So go ahead to create exactly the same thing on the other hand, and I'm going to go off camera now to do the other hand, and when I'm done, I'll come show you the final result. Okay, so I'm done fixing both the strands, and here you go. This is how it's looking. Okay, this is your wavy top. Let me show you the back. Don't worry, I'm going to be weaving in all the strands, of course. All this extra thread, I'll weave them in. So this is how the back is looking. Okay, so we've gotten to the end of today's tutorial. I do hope you enjoyed the video, but if you have any questions, you are always free to put it in the comment section, and I will be happy to help you. Alright, so don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you are a newcomer. Okay, and turn on your notification button so you don't miss any of those beautiful tutorials that I post. So until next time, Bye bye.